Welcome back, everybody, to another thrilling episode of Thrive Street Program with Coach 2J. This is your host, Jeremy Jones. And today we're going to talk about how smaller sets with your partner mean less rest and what that means for a workout and what that means for life in general. And then we've got this fun team workout. We're going to go over partner workout. So in workouts where it's a work rest, we want people to use a faster tempo than they would normally use if it was just themselves going. And this is an additional way to increase the difficulty or the stimulus, so to speak. You know, if you can think about doing heavier weights, larger sets, changing the tempo of how slow you lower the weight or how fast you do the weight up. But when we're talking about Metcons, the tempo means would be the cycle time. By increasing the cycle time, we've increased the difficulty, and we know that by changing the stimulus is one of the ways the body adapts. And so, if we can increase the tempo on these Metcons by going really fast, then when we go back to our normal training, the workouts will feel easier because we can go at a slower pace. So that's one of the reasons why I like team workouts. So in a workout like this, we want people to use short, fast sets, but that also means they're going to have less rest. And so when they're planning out their strategy from doing fast sets, they might need to do a few less reps because they have to remember that if their partner's going really fast and they're going really fast, then they're going to have a lot less rest. And so it might seem like, oh yeah, I could do, I'll do 8 power snatches and then you do 7, but then after 2 rounds, that may not work anymore because their partner may not be able to do that many, and now all of a sudden they're not getting as much rest. Or I guess a better example would be like 5-5-5. So I go 5, you do 5, I finish with 5, but now they go 5 really fast and be like, wait a minute, what just happened? I didn't get hardly any rest. So just make sure that when you're doing smaller sets that means less rest. Now when it comes to life in general, if we're working with our spouse or we're working with someone at work, sometimes, if we're taking turns working on something like a project and, we take over, if we do less, we just want to keep in mind that means they're getting less rest. If we have a quick turnaround and we can't expect it necessarily to come back as fast, because now they haven't had as much time to finish up all their other stuff, right? So there needs to be that communication with your teammates, your partners, or your spouse or whatever of that sort of balance of, okay, well, what can I expect on a turnaround time because I didn't give you much time to recover or again get other things done. All right. Coach's Choice warm-up, you guys know what to do, have fun with it, and then shoulder activation, and then the Revengers, which is another comic book like the Avengers. Teams of 2, we're going to start with a 250 meter row, split as desired, and again, the more split up, the less rest you get. So you can still, you may be able to go a lot faster at a 300 meter pace, but if each of you are doing 300 meters, that's going to be less rest than if each of you are doing 500 meters. And of course, the opposite is true if you go out even longer. But I do think, for the most part, people should probably split this up somewhere between 300 and 600 meter intervals, just because, waiting around for 1,000, even if you go really hard, having to wait for another 5 minutes to get back on is kind of boring. So it's better to switch off and then just try to have really fast transitions, but then have that increased pace time. Now, it also is a good idea to have whoever the better rower is to do a few extra meters. So maybe it's one person does 300, the other person does 400, so they do 25% more of the rows, or 250 meters and 300 meters, something like that. After the row is done, we're going to do 5 rounds for time, 15 power snatches. This is 1% at a time. Again, thinking about that small set, small rest. Then we've got the dumbbell overhead walking lunge. This is both partners together, so each partner will have a dumbbell 20 feet out, 20 feet back. And then we're doing a bumper plate farmer carry, right? So now we want both partners to run together, especially if you're going outside, but only one person can carry. So not one person with each bumper plate. It's got to be one person carrying, the other person running nearby. If you have a coed team, you could have, for example, a 25 and a 45, if you want to do that, or you can just have just use the lighter weight, just use the 25s, and the guy can do a little bit more of the carries. Or another option would be to have 2 sets of plates, and then just maybe go 50 meters out, 50 meters back, and then switch, right? And the other person can go, something like that, where they can just trade off, so they're using their proper loads. Did an indie version here for people want to be loners on that day, or if you have an odd number of people, which happens sometimes. And again, I always like to include the indie versions on Saturdays because there will be people who want to come in and do the but they don't like team workouts, and so if they have the option, they'll still come in and work out, which I think is really important. We don't want people avoiding the gym just because it's a team workout. And then also because it's a Saturday, I added the cash out hypertrophy. That's it for today, guys. Thanks a lot, and thrive on.